Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. So on the north side as the orange star max, we got Leviantanjvl. So on the south side as the purple lightning eagle, we have Mauwus, I think. This map has a weird start of where player wanted to capture both of the factories immediately. Both players have a tank on top of opponent's city, while purple down south only has one base captured and will need to capture the other one. It's unusual start, I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's get started. It is a 2-base map, 1 airport. You do have a free APC in the corner, but it'll take a bit of time to break it out. Black boats on top of your HQ as well. Recon now employed in the field. And does park the tank there next to the artillery, but Eagle will move it off, and actually he's going to try to capture up destroy this pipe seam by taking time to deal with the tank at the moment. Max could take time to put some more rounds into the pipe seam, may be able to. Yeah, I don't think, as an observer, I can see how much damage it does to the pipe seam. It has equivalent health to a Neo tank, right? Max, if he would have took another shot at that pipe seam earlier, could have potentially freed his own tank there. Max doesn't have mech here. Maybe he's going to try to hit that tank. But Max tank here could down to 7% health and has 5 hours remaining. Max will perhaps get his tank free. Eagle may need to go for another artillery piece down there to help intercept it. There's a machine gun round there. Tank infantry. And looks like Max's tank will be set free. Will be immediately ambushed. But it's probably a good idea. I mean, basically you're going to get no damage from it either way. Pulls it back instead. Now this tank is ranged to this other tank, but out of vision range at the moment. Pipe seam does get cleaned on up. And does spot the tank there. And he will not charge forward. Does not see the other tank there, so just going to keep that tank in the woods for ambush. And become bush. Takes out the pipe seam there. And this mech is getting repaired on up. Putting some rounds there onto the pipe seam. Recon will interrupt the capture. Does hit the tank in the forest. Tank hits the forest. Takes out that infantry unit in particular. Don't know if that's a good idea. He's leaving this tank in range of other tanks. I mentioned Max's tank is, well, free. Artillery is in range, so we'll provide some good coverage. At least provide cover for this tank here, but this tank is still exposed. So he did basically lose a tank for free thanks to this tank here, and this tank can escape. He sees the artillery, so just drive away. Don't let it get shot up for free. Now Eagle will get a free double tap there. Oh, we'll take out that one tank. And since Max pulled back all of his tanks there, he does not have a proper counterattack. Though his max force will provide all his direct units +1 range. Which could be enough to range multiple stuff like this artillery, yeah. Max force would be quite useful. Help range some of the stuff. But not all of them. I say there is an argument to be made for max force this turn. Max slowly taking out this pipe seam. 19% health remaining. Does take out that tank there. Does hit the artillery piece. Next turn, there's highly likely will be a max force. I don't think there's going to be a max blast too much this game. I think usually max force just enough. Does strike the recon there. Here's a pipe seam there, tank, and battlecopter infantry. Interrupts the capture there. Max has both comm towers. That's quite a bit of extra firepower, I just realized. Takes out the artillery there. A lot of his direct units are being held in reserve, trying to perhaps catch him off guard with a max blast. Lightning strike course can be very devastating. Looks like large numbers of tanks are just pulled back out of range. So max force and max blast are given +2 range, so it can range a good number of these tanks over here. But of course needs a bit of spotting. Recon in the region can help spot. Black Belt does repair the recon. Stops the capture entirely, so Max will maintain both comm towers. Does strike that infantry unit there. ATR takes the battlecopter. Tank anti-air. Does hit that infantry unit there. Recon does get struck, so does the tank. It's double tapped. Battlecopter tank infantry. And Max Blast is still not available, and Lightning Drive is soon to be available. Which Max may need to pop his... Yep, does activate his Max Blast now. Because he needs to blunt the lightning strike. But of course, charging in means he's going to be at point blank range, and the lightning strike will be devastating either way. That's going to go to strike there. A lot of units are very close, but this core of tanks is still here. I see a lot of assets still here. This lightning strike is going to be devastating. Max ended his turn of 119, while Eagle starts turn of 86, and I'm feeling this lightning strike is going to be bad. Does interrupt some captures there. He spots the anti-air there, so he can take one of his tanks and knock it out. Doesn't have to be this first turn. Battlecopter tank has 1,000 funds remaining, so only one more infantry can be on the field unless it does a merge. Does spot the two tanks there, or battlecopters by Max. Takes out one of them. The other battlecopter could strike the other. Takes out the anti-air as well. Had to spend a whole tank turn to finish it off. Should we use the full health tank or the 8 health tank there? Max's turns down, went from 111 down to 66. Eagle ends turn of 96, so he's about 30,000 funds ahead, so a little overturn. But the front lines are smashing together, so Eagle or Max can't get a good turn. It's anti-air quite nicely. And so has both comm towers. That's something very important to note. The 3 Elf Battlecopter can't stop the capture, so you will need to finish off one of these units before it can stop the capture. Decides not to do it there. I think he should have finished off this tank here and then stack the battlecopter onto it. So the comm tower will be flipped next turn. Strike the mech there. And Eagle's overall falling back. Battlecopter infantry. Oh, goes get trapped at the end of the turn. Takes out that unit there. A pretty weak turn there. 102 versus 87. So Eagle has its day-to-day difference. No real advantage from either side. Anti-air infantry saves up 7,000 funds, so maybe going for a bomber or neo-tank next turn. Does get a lot of good strikes there. Takes out the mech there, gets resupplied by the black boat. Merge those tanks together. Couple good strikes there. Eagle has fallen back. Max has more fuel to control, but his forces are pretty spread out. Eagles are pretty tightly congested. Another max forces is available. Good strike there on that tank. And on that one as well. Tank infantry. Oh, we do have now max blast popped in mid-turn. Also give us plus 2 move range on this medium tank, which best target for is probably one of these tanks of the anti-air. Take out one of those tanks there. We do have not the battlecopter going down. One battlecopter will be going down. Does strike the other battlecopter. This does take it out. This other battlecopter is revealed. Battlecopter, tank, infantry. An Eagle goes for full bomber and ambush spawn bomber. Takes out one of the anti-airs immediately. The other anti-air will be knocked out. Does put the 1 health tank there to help save the bomber from a bit of damage with the 3 health anti-air. Not a super powerful lightning strike, but definitely did equalize the game a little bit there. Max is 89, Eagle ends turn for 83. Medium tank in range, or artillery in range of the medium tank. Which may still be a good idea, just use the bomber to take it out. So I'm flip that comm tower there. Does not take out that anti-air there. It's probably close to 1% health. Double anti-air. Does take out that tank. Tank, battlecopter, and infantry. Does take out the mech there. Do you have a max force? Both players have pretty similar value in the field, so it's day-to-day difference. And do now have a fighter to pull in the field to counter the bomber. It may be best to use honestly anti-airs and just rely on powers and superpowers to help chase it down. I don't think the fighter is really necessary. Of course, Max can't go for a missile. And Max does have a fair number of battlecopters at the moment. Eagle has a good number of anti-airs. Tank. Infantry, tank, bomber pulls back ever so slightly. We saw that one health infantry unit that's on top, was on top of the mountain, but that was probably good spotting. We do have, of course, this property being flipped. Here's how far that fighter reaches. Oh, well, can't click on it since it's fog of war. Neo tank deployed by Eagle. Both sides have got a bit of stalemate there in this fog of war game. Recon battlecopter. And it does get some hits there on the pipe seam, but that pipe seam's not going to be doing much at the moment. Does not take a shot at the recons, it's top of the force. Does get the ATR there, puts a round into that tank, recon, and finish it off. New tank moving forward, takes out the infantry unit there, trying to flip this property. Max does have 20,000 income versus 16,000. And now I've got a rocket deployed by Eagle. Max has almost enough for another max blast. Max force is still very much usable. Does not spot the artillery since it's inside the forest. Probably is extremely aware of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the battlecopter is in range of this anti-air. Vision-wise is another matter. Tank does spot it. Anti-air will take out that battlecopter. Trying to flip that property once again. Bomber rotating over to the east. Battlecopter, recon infantry. Interrupts the capture once again. Eagle's very far away from a lightning strike, very close to a max blast in return. Tank. Does get a good hit there in the battle on the anti-air. There's still, of course, the anti-air and fighter in reserve. Gonna cause issues for this bomber. This 1 health or 6 health battlecopter could go to the black boat, get some repairs, and resupply its ammo. Takes out that capping squad once again. And max blast is available and does pop it after scouting out with the recon. Maybe he has a plan for this Neo tank. Got some good shots there. Battlecopter charge way forward. Don't think there's a lightning strike. Lightning strike could be possible next turn, but there's going to have to be a lot of engagements. I don't think he has enough units in range to get enough power charge for that. Oh wait, now it's not Black Blast. It's just simply a max force, but it wasn't too sniffly great either, honestly. Takes out the battlecopter. Good strikes there. Neo tank gets onto the missile silo platform. Another bomber, infantry, and infantry. Does have vision of the rockets, and the recon and infantry is in range. That's a little bit dangerous. He normally put the Neo tank in range of the rocket. Of course, when this infantry unit can get on top of the mountain and get some excellent spotting. Also got a good number of aircraft here. I think Eagle may need to get a fighter over this region. Definitely need to go for maybe double anti-air for defense once he gets the infantry on top of the mountainside. With our cast vision, we know that was definitely the wrong target. We'll take out that unit there, though. The rocket is in range of the Neo tank. Anti-air tank. Bombers could be a bit more in a sort of position because there's a good chance he will get a lightning strike not this turn, but the following. Got a 1-2 punch of max forces. strikes the rocket there of the tank, taking a one shot. Didn't even need the Neo tank for that. There goes that Neo tank as well. Eagle's lost quite a bit and pulls back some of his valuable units there. So he's sacking these units there for Eagle's lightning strike. And everything else is sort of just pulling back. He's knows this lightning strike's going to hurt. And so he's sacking half of his army. He is at 219 versus 141. Tank will spot a whole lot of nothing. He's charging forward the wounded tanks there to get some good spotting. Eagle Pass took out that battlecopter with this anti-air of the second turn. Good hits there. Take out a good number of those units. He could just save the lightning strike. He probably should save the lightning. He's going to save the lightning strike. It's like he knows that his second turn won't be that useful, and he's not any big threats. His opponent pulled back all the way to the side of the map. Right now it's 180,000, 155. So Max did sack half his army or a bit of his army for really no real gain. I suppose he did take out a Neo tank and a rocket, so it wasn't too, not necessarily no gain. Does free the APC and resupplies the bomber there. Double recon there. That's quite understandable. He's trying to spot for his lightning strike. Charging for the recons to spot stuff is a good idea. And then he can get a second turn with them to get more spotting. Become a bit more of a forced recon. And Max just in a very ultra defense position. Because he knows that he can't really push forward. He's trying to make as big as a gap as possible. Trading land for hopefully a bit of a mistake from his opponent. His opponent's now trying to flip multiple properties, so right now 17 versus 19,000 income, and there's 3 properties being flipped, including one is a calm tower. Eagle's playing ultra defensive. And with our castle vision, we know there is no real big threat. Does flush out some of these units there. Get some good damage there. Yep, we're going to see the lightning strike this turn, I believe. Maybe not. He does pop the lightning strike to save his bombers a bit of a beating. And another max force could be utilized for counterattacking. There's of course, a couple anti-airs there. We got a large number of bombers here. Max does have a number of anti-aircraft and a fighter. Recon does spot the fighter. It managed to strike Max's bomber there. And does strike the anti-air on top of the base. It will finish it off as well. Got another anti-air here there, but he will have to base lock himself. He wants to strike the bomber. He does base lock his opponent, so no longer has to base lock himself to take out a bomber. Max Force, Max Blast. Max Force has been summoned. Right now he's at 139 versus 194. Fighter takes out that one unit there. It will probably be worth it to base lock himself to destroy the bomber there. Oh yeah, this is not Tiny Wars. Trying to see, yeah, that should be a one-shot. If Eagle does fight it, oh nope, he does manage to survive. Eagle's passive day-to-day defense actually come in handy there. And serve 136 versus 154. Does take out the battlecopter there. Last turn there was a medium tank there, saved 6,000 funds. Bomber was pulled back to the airport. And looks like Eagle decides to fall back a little bit there. This game has been a weird mix of poking forward and defensive, and then being ultra aggressive and ultra defensive. I have no idea really what to make of this game so far. APC could be let loose. Some units are starting to run low on fuel. Fighter, infantry, so Eagle does go for air supremacy weapon. And Eagle does have more income now, and trying to get a bigger lead. 70,000 versus 19,000, 162 versus 158. Interrupts the capture there. The battlecraft is almost out of fuel. That battlecraft will be sacked. Another max force is almost available. Does take another battlecopter. Anti-air and infantry. Another max force activated there. Of course, max force does not affect infantry units there. Get some good damage on the anti-air, giving some of his units a bit more breathing room. Does see a number of targets in front of him, but now that he knows about the anti-air in this region, and does go ahead and resign. His angry, saying, "Think of watching," and on to next replay.